Today we're going to talk about how to read a book. And I know you might be thinking, how to read a book? I thought everyone knew how to do that. Don't we learn that in kindergarten, in school? But it's actually more detailed than that, and I will show you. And I'm also going to show you why you want to read books, which is something that most people today don't know, don't do. They would just rather watch television or YouTube videos like this. So, first of all, I want to explain why you might dislike books. It could be the negative experiences that you had with books, and you associate the negative experiences with the books. Let me give you an example. In elementary school, the teacher probably gave you books that you had to read, but you didn't want to read the books, you would just rather go outside and play with your friends. So right then and there, you associate books being a burden, right? They're not letting you go outside to play with your friends because your teacher is forcing you to read the book. And you should never do something you're forced to do, only something that you want to do. And another reason, it could be that the education system may have failed you. And what does this mean? It has failed you. Well, they might not have given you the tools or the knowledge that you needed to succeed in life. If they had given you the tools and the knowledge that you needed to succeed in life, maybe you would be living a better life right now. And personally, my experience is quite similar. I grew up in Portugal, in Lisbon, and going to elementary school, kindergarten, and then even primary school, even before secondary school or high school. So even in high school, it was only at the end of high school that things started changing for me. So let's go back. Let's start in kindergarten. In kindergarten, I don't remember anything. And in elementary school, I did have some books that we had to take to class to do the exercises, but I never really opened them. And when we had to read books in Portuguese class, it was so boring. It was the worst class I had. Right up until the end of middle school or lower high school in America or in Britain, I hated reading books and I hated Portuguese class. It was the worst class I had. I remember that I always failed that class right up until the last year, and then the last year I had to pass in order for my GPA to become good. So I put a little bit of effort and then I was able to pass. And it kept going like this. In mathematics it was the same. I didn't understand it, so I didn't like doing the exercises. Fun fact, I didn't know how to divide until my last year of high school, which was in 2022. I didn't know how to divide. And fast forward 2 years later, I'm now in university taking a software engineering bachelor, and in the Mathematical Methods 1 and Mathematical Methods 2 classes, very difficult, I was able to get an A in both of them. So how I was able to do that, we'll go back to that later. We'll come back to that later. But for now, it's just to show you that it doesn't matter where you are, if you're not good at something, you can immediately become good at it if you have the right tools and the right knowledge and the right teacher. Okay, and then afterwards, in the last year of high school, I started taking matters into my own hands. And what does this mean exactly? This means that instead of me relying on my teachers for me to learn, I decided that I was going to learn by myself. So I took the responsibility. I said, I am responsible for this. And then I used the internet and all of its resources from YouTube, Khan Academy, and free PDF books. I found them, I read them, and I became able to learn the subjects in high school by myself. And it was at this moment that my grades started going to the moon, as they say in Wall Street. I also gained lots of interest in various fields of science, philosophy, everything. Anything that has to do with knowledge, because I'm able to connect the dots and understand how I can apply that knowledge to my life so it becomes better. So I can satisfy Maslow's hierarchy of needs more than I was able to do before, which then leads me to feeling happier. So here's why you need to read books. First of all, books are the backbone of knowledge. And knowledge is the backbone of civilization. If you analyze humans and other animals, the superpower that humans have is language, talking with your mouth, being able to construct so many complex ideas. And the most important thing of all is actually transmitting these ideas and this knowledge. And the way humans do that is through books. So we can just write that. Writing. It's the first ability that separates humans from animals. One of the most important anyways. You can probably see a bird or a chimpanzee picking up a stick on the sand and doing something by accident, but humans do it on purpose, and they create such a complex language system that allows them to store ideas and to make it much faster for the descendants to then learn what they learned. So it goes deeper to language system. And after you have writing, you then get books. Because if you really analyze it, books are just collections of writings. You have a page, you take the papyrus that the Egyptians used, and you store it in multiple sections together, and then you bind them, and then you create a book. So you have collection of writings. And here's where it becomes a very powerful tool. Let's say that through trial and error, you had to find the best way to build muscle in the gym, right? So let's say it took you 1 to 2 years to learn it, so you then build the muscle through the right amount of sets and repetitions. Let's say it took you 2 years, right? Now I'm not sure if you're going to be able to read this, but because it's the first time I'm using a whiteboard for my videos, but we'll see that. If it doesn't work, I'll probably get my editor to make this show up in front of me or behind me. Maybe he is already going to do that. I guess you'll have to see. Or you're already seeing it now. So it took you 2 years to build muscle, right? And what I mean by building muscle is knowing the correct techniques and methods so you can grow your muscles. through the different exercises and the different machines and the different weights, all of that. And let's say that you now know how to do that, and you have a friend. He's just starting out in the gym and he wants your help. So you tell him all the knowledge that you got from this. This gave you knowledge, and then you give this knowledge to your friend. And the way you do it is through speech. So speech through words, like I'm doing right now. But the problem is that 200 years ago, or even less than that, you could not record speech. Okay, maybe you could record sounds in the radio, but okay, 500 years. I don't think they invented radio 500 years ago. So 500 years ago, and further back in time to the start, you could not record speech. So what did humans do instead? They wrote down the speech. So books, you could essentially see it as a storage of speech. So it's like you have a friend that you then give the knowledge after you spend 2 years building muscle, and then your friend is suddenly able to learn what you did to build muscle. Instead of 2 years, he does that in 6 months. Isn't that incredible? That what you took 2 years to learn from scratch through trial and error, your friend can learn in 6 months? I think that's amazing and it's mind-blowing. Because in this example, we used muscle building and going to the gym. And the way he did that is because you, that have spent 2 years building muscle, you have the knowledge, the right repetition, the right exercises, the right meal plan. You give all of that to your friend, and then he follows that. And in 6 months, he's able to get the results that you took 2 years to achieve. Okay? And now if we take this example, it can be applied to anything, right? So if we go and build through Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we have the physiological needs at the bottom, which is water and food. So let's take agriculture, for example. How do we grow food? We don't know. It's just grows, so we have to gather it and we have to find animals and hunt them so we can eat them and have food. This is what humans did right up until the agricultural revolution, thousands of years ago. Right? Because they didn't know a better way. But after thousands of years of manually trying to find animals and running them down, trapping them, or finding trees that are growing, humans developed the ability, developed the knowledge more specifically, of how to actually grow food, how to grow animals, right? How to breed them. So you didn't need to hunt them. You could just keep them around the fence, a farm as we call it, and have them breed with each other so they were multiplied. So then we didn't need to hunt. We just needed enough cows, enough sheep, enough chickens, animals, so that they produced more than we consumed. And through that knowledge, any human today is able to learn agriculture and animal farming or breeding, and they, instead of spending so much energy the entire day running and finding out to find the animals or trying to find trees that have fruit or vegetables that you can eat, in a much faster way, you can just grow it. So it's applied to agriculture. The same thing with mathematics. Today, in university, where I'm studying, the mathematics that we learn in 1 week, it took the mathematician that created that mathematics his entire lifetime to develop. Many years of his life, multiple years. And we are able to learn that in 1 simple week because we have stored the knowledge that he got. He stored the knowledge, he wrote the books, and gave to the ones in the future. Us. So, through language and books, you can learn anything. So, if you want to become rich, you can learn that. If you want to learn how to get a good body, you can learn that. If you want to learn how to be a good politician, you can learn that. If you want to learn how to be a good biologist, a good physicist, you can learn that. Anything that you want, you can have if you're willing to put in the time and the effort to acquire that knowledge. And I would argue for you that reading books is the best way to do that. So, through the use of knowledge, you're able to increase your resources. Right now, if you would like to earn a bigger salary, a bigger wage at your current job, what you need to do is upgrade your skills, the knowledge you have, so you can contribute more to your company, and then your company will naturally reward you more money, a bigger salary, a bigger wage, for the additional value that you provide. So you can learn the latest skills, go to conferences, learn the groundbreaking technology that's being developed right now, learn that, take it to your company, create a solution that makes the product or service that your company provides better and more efficient, or gains more customers, more sales, and I guarantee you, you will be paid a bigger salary and a bigger wage. And also, the more knowledge that you acquire about any field, physics, politics, philosophy, religion, mathematics, the more knowledge you acquire about those areas, the more human relationships you can have and you can develop. When you go to conferences or gatherings and you meet new people, since you have similar knowledge and the same knowledge about a topic, you instantly connect and you can talk about something in that area, which then allows you to build a friendship, which allows you to gain their help and allows you to help them. So overall, you become better. On top of achieving the esteem needs of Maslow's hierarchy, of family, friendship, and security, you also are able to achieve your goals faster. And as you know, the more resources you have, whether it's time that you can save up because your work is more efficient, you can have an artificial intelligence or a robot do the work that you are supposed to do, so it saves you more time, so you increase your time resource. You can also use knowledge to increase the amount of value that you provide to your company at your job. They pay you more, and you are able to increase the money resource. You also increase the human relationships resource. And the more resources that you develop, that you achieve, you can then use the money to buy land, space, so you can do your own projects. You want an apartment, you want a better house, whatever, you can do it. Because the more resources that you have, the more power you have, the more control over your environment you have, And the more control you have over your environment, the more you can decide what you want to do, with who you want to do, when you want to do it, and for as long as you want to do it. And the more that you are able to do this, the more freedom you have, and the more freedom you have, the happier you become. So that's why you need to read books, okay?